Hello, lovely people. I'm Sinead, and today I want to read Old Black Witch. Now, I'm assuming that she was called Old Black Witch because she dresses in black from head to foot. So it wouldn't stand out today, especially not in Seattle. But at the time I believe this was written in 63, wearing black from head to foot was a little unusual. Anyway, it's written by Wende and Harry Devlin. And we have a lovely picture of her balancing on a stool. And doesn't this look like the perfect witchy environment? There's even little toadstools down there. Nicky and his mother had made a long trip to New England. They didn't have much money, and they wanted to buy an old house to turn into a tea room. Nicky's mother had in mind a special kind of house. I can almost read the name of the street, but not quite. Oh, a special kind of house for the tea room. She thought it should be old and warm and cozy. They looked and looked for such a house. At last they found a man who said he had just the right house for a tea room. He said it was old and warm and cozy. He really thought it was old and broken down and dreadful. Nicky and his mother were too tired even to think. They bought the house. When all the papers were signed, they went to the house. Nicky's mother opened the squeaky old door with the rusty key. The sun had gone down and the house was dark and chilly. Nicky began to build a fire in the big fireplace. The fire did not start very easily, and puffs of smoke soon filled the room. I hope we all understand the dangers of starting a fire in a fireplace where the chimney hasn't been tended to in forever. Not a good idea. So it's not really surprising that he got interesting results. Suddenly, squawk, thump, and down from the chimney fell a big, black mess. It was covered with cobwebs and made terrible sounds. It stumbled out of the fireplace into the room. From its long pointed hat to its long pointed shoes, it was covered with ashes. It was a fright. It was furious. And it was an old black witch. Old Black Witch glared into Nicky's face. "Who told you to build a fire in my fireplace?" she shouted, stamping around and shaking her broom. "Jumpin' Jehoshaphat! You've scorched my blasted broomstick." This is our fireplace and our house because we bought it," Nicky said politely. "And what are you doing in our chimney?" Old Black Witch had expected to see the boy scream in fright and climb the closest curtain. Now she looked hard into Nicky's face. She pointed a long, crooked finger at the tip of Nicky's nose. Whatever is she going to do? Nicky's mother is hanging out in the other room.
"Boy," she croaked, "this is my chimney, my fireplace, and my house."
She looked at her watch.
"Giblets!" she screeched. "I have been asleep for 100 years. Now you just ski-daddle. This is my house. Scoot, boo, scat, run."
Her voice is causing my throat to get scratchy, so I may have to give it up. Nicky's mother, who could hardly believe what she saw, now spoke to Old Black Witch. "We bought this house to make a warm, cozy little tea room with red-checked curtains, bunches of Sweet William on the tables, and homemade biscuits with honey." "And blueberry pancakes," added Nicky.
"Bats!" screamed Old Black Witch. "Over my dead body! This house must have big cobwebs in the corners, black curtains, some old toads in the fireplace, and 3 inches of dust on the floor."
Old Black Witch cracked her knuckles, popped her eyes, and made awful noises. "Nonsense," Nicky's mother answered calmly.
"Then what will become of me?"
muttered Old Black Witch.
"There aren't many old broken down houses left, you know."
Well, if you'd really like to stay, you may have a room in the attic, said Nicky's mother. Old Black Witch grumbled all the way up to the attic, but after some banging around, she settled down in a little room under the rafters. So first we have her with her broom. I believe she's shaking it. And her delightful little room. Oddly enough, this little room pleased Old Black Witch. The cobwebs hung heavy with dust, and a family of squeaky bats nested near the roof. There the wind blew, the shutters bumped, and the old beams made spooky music. She would have liked some pets, such as a few spotted toads. Yes, she thought, a couple of spotted toads would have suited her nicely. Downstairs, Nicky and his mother began the hard work of fixing up the old house. I apologize for the awful noises that my dog is making. Yes, Radar has settled into my lap and is making disgusting noises. Oh boy. The cleaning, scrubbing, painting, and polishing went on for weeks. Old Black Witch wasn't much help. She switched around on her scratchy old broom, flitting from stair posts to corner cupboards, shrieking and cackling and making rude remarks about the way things were going. One evening, she sailed out through a window so sparkling clean that she thought it was open. The crash was ear-splitting. It was like a clap of thunder. It was very noisy. Old Black Witch was hopping mad. So we've got the zooming and the crashing. She zoomed back into the room, kicked over a bucket of suds, and shook glass out of her broom all over the clean floor. When Nicky did the scolding. Okay. When Nicky scolded her for half an hour, Old Black Witch just pulled her long pointed hat over her long pointed nose and pretended that she was asleep. Finally, in spite of Old Black Witch, the tea room was ready, just as it had been planned. There were red checked curtains, and there were bunches of Sweet William on the tables. The homemade biscuits were delicious, and the blueberry pancakes were the best for miles around. From the very beginning, the Jug and Muffin tea room was a success. Although people had heard that the house was haunted by an old black witch, no one believed such nonsense. See her up in there, right, shaking. Yet they wondered who it was that shouted down from the attic window, "Boo! Scat!" and "Ratcha-fratch!" at all the ladies who came to see the clever new tea room. They all waved back at Old Black Witch and said, "How quaint and how sweet." One day, Nicky's mother went upstairs and knocked on Old Black Witch's door. "Black Witch, dear, there is an awfully big crowd downstairs and I need help with the pancakes." Nicky's mother looked very tired. "Could stir a little," said Old Black Witch. It had been 100 years since she had last cooked, but she soon found herself in the kitchen with a nice clean apron and a lot of eggs, flour, and blueberries. Then, with a pinch of this and a pinch of that, Old Black Witch's blueberry pancakes were simply wonderful. Before long, Nicky's mother let her serve some of the pancakes. We have her serving pancakes. When the customers stared, Old Black Witch asked them, "What's the matter, dearie? Is my slip showing?" Sometimes she cackled, Don't worry. I made them myself." That's why some people worried, but they had to admit the pancakes were marvelous. Old Black Witch was beginning to enjoy all the attention. Soon she began singing in her cracked voice as she put the pancakes on the table. Sometimes she sang, "Boil, cauldron, make a brew. What kind of berries make pancakes blue?" Or, "Boil and bubble, dance a jig. If you eat all these, you're a polka dot pig." Or, "Snakes and snails and gophers' knees. If you think they are bad, then just taste these." there. That's a fun picture. The old black witch. Old black witch might be the reason why I always wanted to dress as a witch. Not all people who heard about the Jug and Muffin tea room were nice, quiet ladies. This picture's great. Hey, we got the house, right? Come over here. Oh my goodness, skullduggery. Stories of the famous tea room reached the ears of two very greedy thieves who decided to pay a visit to the old house. They made very careful plans. They put on their sneakiest sneakers, and with a final shh, they made their way through the dark. The night was blue with a great lemon moon peeking through the trees. It was Old Black Witch who heard them. She tiptoed down from the attic. In the light of that great lemon moon, she saw the thieves shaking money from the sugar bowl into a bag. Her face wrinkled into a smile, and her eyes glowed in the corner where she hid. Old Black Witch knew evil and believed in it to a point. These were her kind of people. She was about to cackle, "Go to it, boys," when she realized they were stealing from her. After all, her blueberry pancakes had made the money in the sugar bowl. Sudden fury made her hop up and down. She banged the floor with her broom. The greedy thieves were startled and frightened until they saw that Old Black Witch was really quite tiny. They picked her up, sputtering and kicking, and stuffed her in the almost empty flour barrel. Then they went back to their stealing. However, the two thieves did not see the lid of the barrel rise. They did not hear Old Black Witch whisper 3 magic words. They did not see her eyes cross twice in a sudden puff of smoke. Here she is getting stuffed into the barrel. Oh dear. But the thieves suddenly disappeared. Where they had been, 2 green and brown toads blinked at each other in the moonlight. See if we can get this all in there. There we go. In a twinkling, Old Black Witch scooped them up in her apron, popped them into a wooden cage. From then on, Old Black Witch had 2 strange spotted toads in her room. Things went along very well for everyone after that. Old Black Witch helped quite often in the tea room. She demanded days off in which to be nasty, but then most witches would. Nikki's mother no longer looked tired. Nikki grew rosy in the country air. Old Black Witch often told stories to Nikki about the bad old days. But I know you are really a good witch, he would say, looking at her fondly. Then Old Black Witch would look out the window, crack her knuckles, and wink at the dusty crow that lived in the mulberry tree. See her toads. "Bats," she would say. "Bats, crickets, and snake sneeze." I hope you have enjoyed this reading of Old Black Witch. I kind of want to add here that part of the reason why I am continuing to read stories from my childhood is because it's kind of a rebellion against the chaos out there that's going on. There is a creator on Instagram who says 15 minutes of rebellion, if you will, of resistance, maybe not rebellion, but resistance to the chaos, and meaning contact your representatives and mail your letters and be politically active in some way, and then spend 15 hours on joy, on finding something that makes you happy and restores you, that you need to resist what is happening, because what's going on is a destruction of the the rule of law, what makes our country what it is, and they're trying to destroy it so that they can take advantage of the poor and the middle class in horrible ways, and put us in jail for no reason and get rid of due process. So we have to fight that, but we also need to restore ourselves. We need to build ourselves up in some way through enjoying something, which is part of the reason why I continue to make videos about the dollhouse and about fun things, about crafting, because these are restoring things. These are things we all need to do. Remember to get out there and support your small businesses and support your artists, because at times like this, they definitely need it even more than they needed it before. I know I do. And you can check out my website and get patterns and whatnot for sewing and crafting. Keep an eye on my website. Arthur is working diligently on giving it a new look that I hope will be easier for you to navigate. We're really working hard to come up with something that captures the whimsy of fairies and the ease of use of a better run website. And yes, I'm leaving Shopify. It's gotten a little ridiculous there, and we have to cut corners wherever we can, and that's a corner I can cut. And also you can check out Mudwood Gnomes. If you go to the Mudwood Cottage web page and you just type in Mudwood Cottage, it will give you links to both Fairy Rags and to Mudwood Gnomes. It's kind of just a hub that takes you to our two businesses. And on the Mudwood Gnomes, you will find all the full-size pottery. He is also working, and I don't know if he's got all of this done, because it does require taking a lot of photos, and it's really important that he hit the deadline for my website, the Fairy Rags website, before it renews. So he maybe have put Mudwood Gnomes on hold. But anyway, Mudwood Gnomes has the full-size pottery, and he's working on trying to get photographs that more accurately depict what it is we have, because some of the photos are from Laughing Gnome early days, so they're by artists that no longer work with us. We have a wonderful woman who does glazing for us, and we have some people who do little gnomes, but we haven't actually, they are still in stock. There hasn't been a restock on that lately. Mostly it's been me restocking, but they may at some point contribute to that. And Arthur and I are doing our best to take on for myself, trying to do more of the sculptural details, and Arthur is actually throwing. He's actually doing tiny pots, and so we're all trying to get this going to where it's not just all on Joey's shoulders, because that's important. Joey shouldn't be the only potter in this business. When this business, Laughing Gnome, when we took it over, and it became part of the Mudwood Cottage thing with the Mudwood Gnomes, it had at that time, I believe, 3 full-time potters, and maybe 4. There might have been a 4th one, and one has gone off to school, and the other one has, the main guy, he retired, and the other one has retired as well. So, or at least retired from pottery. She's got a farm and children, so it's not that kind of retirement. It's retirement from pottery. But anyway, I have rambled again. I'm getting really good at that. No comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a delightful day and a wonderful week. Bye.